The championship season is right around the corner, and while we've got predictions going on and we're going to be dropping predicted league tables and much more, today I thought I would look at the 5 teams who've been stuck in the championship the longest, because Birmingham, who held the previous record of 13 consecutive seasons in the second tier, were of course relegated last season to League One. So who now holds the record and who's been stuck in this league the longest? Now, of course, there is a well-known stigma around the Championship that it's the most unpredictable league in the world, and by that you'd imagine there are a lot of teams going up, a lot of teams going down, a lot of teams coming in, a lot of teams leaving, and that is the case. But there are actually a few teams who have been stuck in this league for quite a long time, some that haven't even flirted with playoffs or relegation. So let's get into a few honourable mentions and stats before we get started. So as I mentioned, Birmingham did have the outright record before their relegation last season at 13 consecutive seasons, but that's not the most in history. In fact, Barnsley hold the most in history with like 32 consecutive seasons from the 1800s into the 1900s, but I guess in more modern times, Ipswich actually held the record of 17 consecutive seasons between 2002 and 2019. What I can tell you is there isn't a team in this list today that gets close to that. Now, there are a few honourable mentions. We've got 3 teams that have been stuck in the Championship for 6 consecutive seasons. They are Swansea City, Stoke City and Blackburn Rovers, all of which have came close to either playoffs or relegation in recent years. But starting at number 5, and the team who's been stuck in the league the longest in 5th place, well, it's Boro. I didn't quite believe that it was Boro that had been in the 5th longest, but that is true. Boro have been in the Championship, if you include the upcoming season, for 8 consecutive seasons, following, of course, our relegation from the Premier League in 2016-2017. And had it not been for that one-off stint in the Premier League, we would be currently holding the record for the most consecutive seasons in the Championship, which is crazy in itself. In our time in the Championship throughout them 8 seasons, our average position is currently at 8th, so that's pretty decent. That's playoff challenging for the most part. Now, we have come close to a return to the Premier League on 2 separate occasions with 2 playoff campaigns, albeit both of them were extremely underwhelming. Of course, we were playing Aston Villa in the playoffs in 17-18. We lost the home leg 1-0 and then drew the away leg 0-0 without even having a shot on target. Thanks, Tony Pulis. And then most recently, of course, you guys will remember in 22-23, in similar fashion, we drew the away leg 0-0 this time against Coventry and then lost once again the home leg 1-0 at home. It is also worth mentioning we did flirt with relegation slightly in 2019-2020 in that dreadful Jonathan Woodgate season before Neil Warnock come in and guided us to safety by 5 points that season. So as I say, Boro 5th highest, which I didn't expect, but without that one season in the Premier League, we'd have been stuck in the Championship for 15 consecutive seasons. It's about time we got ourselves out of this goddamn division. At number 4, we've got Millwall, who also have been in the Championship for 8 successive seasons, with their average position at 11th. Now, Millwall were simultaneously promoted to the Championship the same season that Boro were relegated from the Premier League. They beat Bradford in the League One playoff final that season, and their first 2 seasons in the Championship were completely different to one another and were quite up and down. Millwall had an incredible first season back in the second tier, finishing 8th in the league and only 3 points from the playoffs, but they followed that up with narrowly avoiding the drop the following season, finishing 21st and only staying up by 4 points. Since then, they've been a fairly consistent Championship performer, missing out on the playoffs narrowly on several occasions. In 1920, they were only 2 points short of the playoffs, and in 22-23, they were 1 point short after, of course, suffering agony to Blackburn Rovers on the final day. The question is, are Millwall in good enough nick to challenge for playoffs this season, or will they be looking at a 9th consecutive season in the Championship? The top 3, it has to be said, are all technically joint first, having been in the Championship for now 10 successive seasons, starting with the 3rd team being Preston North End. Preston have an average position, like with Millwall, at 11th in the league, and they were promoted in the same season. Now, Preston have been incredibly unremarkable in their time winning the Championship over the last decade. They are the epitome of a Championship mainstay. They finished between 7th and 14th in every single season. Their best finish was in 2017-2018, where they missed out on the playoffs by only 2 points, and their worst position was 14th the following season. But it's safe to say, if you want a team who are just comfortable to be here, then that team is Preston North End. In second, as I say again, with 10 successive seasons, is QPR, who were relegated from the Premier League in the same season, but their average position is only 15th. Now, QPR have had a terrible time since relegation from the Premier League, and it's been far from steady. They have come incredibly close to the drop into League One numerous times, and have only finished in the top half on 3 separate occasions. They finished 18th twice, 19th once, and their lowest finish came in 20th position in 22-23, when they survived by only 6 points. They also came within 6 points of the drop last season, but their closest call to relegation came in 2016-17, when they survived by only 2 points. Honestly, I can't quite believe how far off the playoffs QPR have consistently been, and how close to relegation they've came across the last decade. And in first, again with 10 successive seasons, stuck in the Championship, we've got Bristol City. Bristol City, like Preston, were promoted in 2015-2016 as the champions of League One, and have fared slightly better than QPR. Their average position has been 14th, but they've been nowhere near as steady as what Preston have been. The Robins have spent more time in the bottom half of the Championship table as they have the top, with their highest finish being 8th in 2018-2019, when they came within 4 points of the playoffs. Other than that though, they've finished 17th or lower 4 times, with their closest call to relegation being in 2016-2017, when they survived by only 3 points. So, out of the 5 teams who've been stuck in the Championship the longest, which one do you think has the biggest chance of finally getting out of this league this season, whether it's going up into the Premier League or maybe even being relegated down into League One? Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you'd like to see me do the same for League One, League Two, or even the Premier League, let me know in the comment section below. I've got all the stats ready. I just need to know if you guys are interested in seeing the video, and if you are, hit the like button under this video and subscribe for much more cool Championship and football related content to come. Lots to come in the run up to the Championship season. Hit the bell too so you never miss when an upload drops here on the channel. But until next time guys, a big thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you'd like to see in the comment section below, and until the next one, thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.